Hey folks, we are back in my shed for an actual long overdue video update on what I've been doing here, because I sort of stopped showing you this Arctic conversion when I started doing the arcade room, which is on the other side of this wall. But since then I've done quite a bit here, so I think when I stopped doing the videos, the shed conversion videos, I've just done this stairs and this section. What is new is this whole entire section, so I'm pretty much done on here. And the reason I haven't finished this is because I've been busy with another project in the meantime. But let me show you upstairs actually, because we now have quite a long storage space. I know you can't see, but let me switch the light on. So Fiona's put a lot of our stuff here now, but and it's quite messy, but I have my section here because after all I built it. So these are all my just spare monitors and PCs and various bits of consoles and stuff that needs to be repaired. So this is our storage space. Jeez, Fiona, please. Yeah, all this needs to be tied. There's actually a lot of stuff here that we used to be in the house, but we are getting the kitchen redone right now. So oh cat, I didn't see you. So there you go. So quite a nice bit of space. I have some musical instruments over there, and the last section here that needs to be done. So I'll do that. I'll just put this actually to help us when we're going down, and this as well when we're going up and back down. But I have since done, well, a number of things. One of them is this huge path here, which took quite a while because it's a lot of cement, and I had to pour it and level it myself with my own little arms and just a wheelbarrow and my cement mixer, which is over there. So I used quite a lot of sand and cement and various bits. I think I have some videos of how I did it. Maybe I'll put this and come back to this section here. But yeah, actually, let's do that. So one thing I'm doing these days is I'm actually pouring a cement path all here. It's going to be wide enough, but the idea is to actually extend the roof or have a not a flat roof, but less of a slant, but coming all the way here, so that we when we arrive home we can actually just drop stuff here in out of the rain if it's raining. It'll also help dry the walls and make this shed in general a bit less damp inside. Yeah, so I'm doing this on my own. I got a new type of cement, and it's actually this color. Well, it's not the same color. This was actually more plastering sand. This is proper cement path type of sand, but it's a different color. It's okay. I'm using bits of metal that I collected. Leave them at the back usually, but just to reinforce it, because cement is good in compression, but not compression, but if you pull at it, it breaks very easily, relatively easily. But it's very good in compression, so that's why you put metal in it, just to reinforce it, to prevent that tension to happen, and the cement from cracking or getting bad. I'm not going for a super slick smooth look anyway, and when it's all done, it's actually going to be this color. So the difference between those two is it's gonna go. And I mean, I did this very quickly ages ago. You can see like it's aged a bit. This was actually new, just to patch a few holes where the grass was starting to grow again. It's growing again. It's funny, like it'll grow wherever you leave a hole or a tiny little bit of recess. For it to grow, nature will get there. It's kind of reassuring, I suppose. But there you go. So I'm finishing this. The big job was here. It was actually deeper over there. I'm trying to keep this level, and it's going to be a lot shallower over here. And I would assume once I reach here, because this is way raised, I'm not sure what I'll have to do. I'll probably have to match this
this raise here, but that's gonna bring me super high over there, so I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that over there, but yeah, I'll come to it. I'm not gonna document this, I'm just showing you. Maybe I'll show you how to pour concrete and make concrete. I got a cement mixer, I've had it for ages, it's served me well for all my jobs, but you know, it's funny because I didn't learn any of these skills, like, but I was helping my dad, my stepdad, when I was a kid, and he was asking me to help him all the time, so I picked up all these skills and shed skills and all that. And at the time, it's funny because all I wanted to do was play video games. I certainly didn't want to go out and help him do work like that. And now it turns out that these skills are helping me build a video game room. So yeah, there you go. It's a bit of rain, but shouldn't affect things too much. I mean, you can actually just do some concrete in very light rain. It's actually shifting, and there shouldn't be more rain afterwards. But unless it's raining heavily, like it's just the odd shower, you'll be fine doing concrete anyway. I just stopped this. I kept going anyway. I just stopped this guy, just to show you that's roughly the consistency you want. And so when you're making it, just make sure there's not, you know, when you're about to pour it in the wheelbarrow here, make sure there's nothing stuck, you know, to the edges and the side, like big lumps, because that's usually an indication of it didn't mix well enough, or there's not enough water to mix it properly, and etc, etc. And I'm gonna put some water just to clean the inside and keep it going until I come back, so it doesn't stick to the barrel, the mixer. And there you go. That's one wheelbarrow poured. So you can see it'll take a few. Let's say 1, 2, 3. Go here. 4, 5. But 5 or 6 wheelbarrow just to do this. Hey, dude, you're in the way. No! Get out of here, Billy! And that's what happens. I've also poured it quite liquid, and that's because I can afford to do that because it has big stones in it. If you do that with a cement that doesn't have big stones, it'll just flow out everywhere, so the stones are kind of holding it in place. But also I sort of need it like that because it has big stones in it. It's hard to get a smooth finish unless you add a bit of extra water to your mix. So there's there's a rule of thumb for cement, which is a 3-to-1 mix, which is usually what I do, but you kind of have to adjust depending on the conditions and what you're doing as well. 3-to-1 is probably overkill for a path, especially a path where we just walk on, like it's not we're not going to drive on it, or so I'll probably get away with 4-to-1, but what the hell, 3-to-1 works for me. I'm used to it, although it doesn't look great. Okay, let's keep going. tricky one to do because I want it slant and I want it flat there. So it's even enough there, especially in winter. You know, if there's a bit of ice, you don't want it too slanted. But you want it to drain the water if water gets in here or in the shed. You want it to drain quickly out of it. Essentially, the roof is going to stand to over about here, something like that. Actually, probably to the end. Almost done here with the path. As you can see, there's you can see all the sections, but not much I can do. But like doing it on my own, I realistically can do everything in one day. But at least it's a lot better than it was. I mean, this was super slanted from over here down to here. And in winter, it gets, you know, if there's any ice and water, it just gets very slippery and quite dangerous. So I had to do that, and I had to do that anyway because I want to do a roof here. So I still have this section here, and I haven't quite decided yet if I'm gonna go all the way here or maybe just here. I suppose I should at least come to here because that's where the wall is. Yeah, might as well just go here, like for the sake of a half a foot or a square foot. But yeah, I might just do that anyway. But it's hard to stay even. There's a bit of a dip here that I'm gonna have to repatch again. I got some finer sand that I can use for patching like that. But hi dude, you just have to be on every shot, don't you? Yeah. So I don't know, because there's actually a drop here. There was a huge drop here, and then it rises here again. So I still want some of the water. You can see that sometimes water flows here, so I still want it to come here this way and not to collect inside here. So I'm gonna have to sort of keep that slant here and have it come down slightly like that, just to so I'm not sure how I'm gonna go about that, because here I really need this. Why do I can actually slant it here slightly, or do a step. Sort of defeats the purpose, but do a step from here. Nah, it's not gonna work. You know what, I'm just gonna bring it level with this first and see where I am at afterwards. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm gonna bring it level with it. Dude, dude, sorry dude, thank you buddy. Yeah, bring it level to here, and see what my options are afterwards. Yeah. Right, so yeah, once I had the cement all done, and as you can see, you know, it's aged not quite a bit. The trick here, because this is actually a slant, was actually to have a slant going here this way, so the water coming from over there, if it rains a lot, it actually just come here like that. But the other thing I've done is I've roofed this entire section so that I can work outside. And this was quite the project, and it took me most of the summer, to be honest. So that's why I wasn't working on this guy here. But well, it's made a huge difference. I can now work outside, and even if I have an arcade machine coming, I can actually store it outside for a while I'm working on it. It's quite pleasant to stay underneath here. But what it is, so I had to remove the previous gutter here, and I've used a few lengths of it. It's all 6x2s going across, and this is secured by these or in place by all these 6x2s here. The trick here is to have it level, and then I'm using just a bolt system. I don't know if you can see it here. I had to make these because you can't find these in Ireland, so I'm using a plate and a bolt that allows me to correct the length properly, and then I bolt it into the wall. The other reason for this is that as water comes in underneath, it doesn't actually seep through the wood,
so there's no or it limits the wood rot. Even though these are treated, shouldn't be subject to rotting. It can still happen. So I've done this for all of these. This one is actually not going to the grounds because I actually run out of wood, and I was like, geez, I don't want to buy a new section while I have this. So what I did is I actually put a plate under here just to secure it in place and bolted it back in place, so it still supports a lot. And then this is bolted into the wall as well, so trust me, it's not going to move. In fact, we've had the worst storm, or it was a hurricane, Ophelia, while I was building this, and this didn't move an inch, so it's quite solid and sturdy. For the poles here, I'm just using these what are these, 4x4 pillars, and again I have a bolt inside. I have these anyway just to secure them in place, and inside underneath I have another plate with a bolt just to prevent water from actually just seeping through it. You know, as you can see, it still gets wet from direct contact, but coming from underneath it just avoids all this water coming in. So here I still have to put the gutter back on, even though now the water just falls off straight off the path. But so that's what I've been doing. I think it looks okay. If and I've put the lights on. Actually, in the evening, it looks quite gorgeous. It's a nice little porch, and but doing this on my own was quite the project indeed. So this was, I suppose, a quick update on the shed, the conversion. This is actually turning out to be a very nice place. I mean, this shed was quite a mess when we moved in. I have old photos somewhere I need to dig out, but all of this was actually just grass, and which made it very hard for the cars to park in because it gets really muddy really quickly, especially in Ireland. So I had to get it gravelled, and all here was just overgrown. Literally, some of the doors you couldn't open them because they were just overgrown. It's quite hard to describe unless you were here, but I've done some changes here as well, just to gain some space. And wow, this is quite nice and warm. So I've moved the Donkey Kong. I've actually moved the outrun out of this corner, and I've moved it here. I have a spare outrun board here. I actually managed to grab a spare one. So yeah, I need to tidy all this, put it in storage. But so I've moved the outrun beside the pinball first because I think it looks great. It's more visible. I love to be able to see that shape of the cab. Over there it was just tucked in, and it wasn't, you know, you couldn't see it properly. The Galaga, you know, the sides are cool, but it's not as striking as an outrun, so I think it's nice to have it here. This will go in time, but essentially here, because of the width, we'll be able to fit the Pac-Man Cabaret, which is now arrived in England. So I need to get it shipped across from England to Ireland, but it's made its way from the US. So I've put the Galaga back in there. The Double Dragon is still here, and here we still have room for another cab. So essentially we have room for two cabs. So one is coming here, another one will be here, and I think we'll be full. We'll be full after that. But yeah, it's turning into quite a cool room. I found this to put all my manuals, arcade manuals, a few posters here and there. I have my Square Painter posters. Got a Castlevania poster here. Just various bits. This is the Nintendo Entertainment, the NES I fixed in one of my previous videos. I decided to put it here. I had one on display here. I actually sold it and then put this one instead. And very solid bits. This guy I had when I was a kid. I got this at Christmas. It turns into a giant robot and then into a gun as well. That was really cool. You could actually fire darts on the gun. I have this BB gun. I'm not a gun guy, but this was given to me when I was, I think, 6 or 7 by my granddad, who's now passed, obviously, but I managed to get it back from France on the ferry with us the last time we were over. It was quite a funny adventure because we had to fill all sort of papers and all that to get it, because you know, being a BB gun, and I thought it was a weapon. So we had to fill a weapon form and all that. And when we arrived at custom, the custom guys were so disappointed that it was just a BB gun. One of the guys said, "That's not a weapon," just in utter disgust, and led us through quickly. But I'd rather do things, you know, properly. And one of the guys actually said, "No, you did the right thing, because if you take this out, you know, in a crowd on the boat, you're gonna have panic." And he said himself said, "You know, I'm not gonna stop and see what kind of gun it is, you know, in a moment of panic." So he said, "Yeah, you did the right thing." But they were very, very disappointed this wasn't a real gun. I mean, you know, you're not gonna pierce cardboard 20 meters away with this thing, you know. It's quite weak. Anyway, I just wanted to bring back, because of the memories. Like, this was given to me by my granddad when I was very, very young. I need to clean it and restore it. It's got some rust pitching here. Anyway, that's the update on the shed. I haven't filmed any of the progress for here because, well, first I wasn't exactly sure what I was doing either, and then I'm not sure how much of an interest there is on this channel for this, but it wasn't actually that interesting of a build. It's rather simple. The only tricky part is to get everything level the first time around. So get this in place, and then get the angle to match every time. But once you get a rhythm going, you kind of move quite fast. And then I had to cut notches here as well, just to fit these. Sometimes you fit them above, but we were very, very limited in how much space we had on top of the roof here. I can actually reach over. So if I put these on top of this, we would have run out of space to actually fit this under the other roof section. So gain space whichever way I can. 6x2 is probably overkill. There's very, very little load on these. These are very, very, very light. So there's no, if hardly any load on this. So a 6x2 is probably overkill, but I wanted it to be sturdy because, like I said, I built this when there was a hurricane coming. So I wanted to make sure that it was still going to be here when we could finally get out of the house. But there you go. I hope this was of some interest, guys. I'll next time I do a project, I'll try to film more of it. And film the process, but there you go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.